Next on Worcester News Tonight, Worcester police are investigating a fatal stabbing in the city. Plus, remembering Brian O'Connell. Past and present colleagues remember the late school committee member. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Cam Jandro. A stabbing on Worcester's Dixfield Street leaves one dead and one in custody. Worcester police say when they arrived on scene, a man was suffering from a stab wound on his torso. Our Gretchen LaRosa has more.
Killed? Wow. Over what?
Police investigating inside a home on Dixfield Street for a reported stabbing.
It upsets me because we've never had this type of an issue.
Investigators say a 40-year-old man was found suffering from a stab wound. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead a short time later.
I don't know exactly what type of knife, but he was stabbed with a knife.
Lieutenant Sean Murtha says it was a chaotic scene when police arrived at the home.
His girlfriend of about 3.5 years, Jennifer Algarin, was placed under arrest at the scene. She was 32 years old. She was charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon.
Neighbors say they're surprised by the violence in their neighborhood.
It's shocking because I didn't hear anything previous. There was never a problem. But you know what, you never know, you know.
Now again, there has been no official murder charge at this time. Lieutenant Sean Murtha says he expects Algarin will be arraigned on Monday. In Worcester, Gretchen LaRosa, Worcester News Tonight.
Sad news today. Longtime school committee member Brian O'Connell has passed away. Friends and colleagues say his commitment to the schools and city will live on. Our Chandler Walsh has more on how O'Connell will be remembered.
It was a huge shock this morning.
I still haven't dealt with it.
The community mourns the loss of Worcester School Committee member Brian O'Connell. One of the longest elected officials in the history of Worcester, the committee was concerned when O'Connell wasn't at Thursday night's meeting.
Brian is at every meeting, and so when he didn't show up last night, I think it raised questions, and I think people then were following through to see what, where he might have been, and he wasn't answering his phone.
Authorities conducted a wellness check, and shortly after, O'Connell was pronounced dead. O'Connell was elected into the school committee in 1983 and known for active involvement and dedication throughout his 18 terms.
One of the smartest people that I've seen in government. And I don't think he could be identified as a politician. He was more of a public servant.
When we saw that coming up in the agenda, when there are perhaps 8 or 10 items filed, we would make the comment that we're entering the O'Connell zone.
O'Connell grew up on Worcester Academy's campus, his father a well-known science teacher. O'Connell kept a close relationship with the school.
He was a warm and generous person. He gave so much to Worcester Academy, and he gave so much to the Worcester community.
This year, Worcester Academy inducted him into their Hall of Fame.
That ended up being one of the best decisions we made in the past year, and I know how much he enjoyed and appreciated it.
Those who worked alongside O'Connell for years have no doubt he would have continued into another elected term, and say the school committee and city won't be the same without him.
He dedicated his life to the city of Worcester and the public schools, and I think it's a remarkable level of service that he brought to us all.
Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
A new memorial in Worcester aims to be a calming space where families can remember loved ones who have battled addiction. The plaque in space is by the bike path at the Blackstone Heritage Corridor Visitors Center. It was created by the nonprofits Learn to Cope and Healing After Loss from Overdose, with help from the state. The group says this is the first site in Massachusetts recognizing overdoses and will help bring this social problem into the light.
When people are out here, they're going to be attracted to the monument. They're going to look at it and see it and think about it, and probably know somebody or know a family who's been impacted by this disease.
We want people to recognize that this is a disease and that it has affected so many people.
Our goal is to help educate and support families who have a loved one, because we feel like once they become educated, they're able to help their loved one.
The state's Department of Transportation helped pay for the plaque. A drop box at UMass Memorial Medical Center is helping put unwanted and unused drugs out of harm's way. The hospital added the box to its campus about a year ago in order to provide a safe way to discard all forms of medication. So far, it's collected more than 600 pounds. The box is a donation from the UMass Memorial Opioid Task Force.
That's the main purpose of it, is to take those addictive medications, but all medications, out of the home where you could get accidental poisonings are more likely to happen. However, there's another advantage to having the box too, is that we're safely disposing of it, so it's also an environmentally friendly way to get these meds out of our community, out of our homes.
The medication is taken to a safe location where it is burned. UMass Memorial describes the box as extremely successful. A new app is helping young people open up about mental health. Our Valerie Bell spoke with the Shine Initiative today about Mind Matters and has a look at how it works.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 1 in 5 Americans experience a mental illness in a given year. Estimates suggest that only half of people with mental illnesses receive treatment. A new app is looking to change that.
It's okay to reach out. We want to normalize the conversation. We want them to understand that their voice is what's the most important thing.
The app is called Mind Matters. It contains several features. For example, you can access 20 different resources like text lines and hotlines and support for different disorders and trauma, all at your fingertips.
You click on the app with what it is that you're feeling. They can go through coping skills. It asks them, did this work for you?
You can also get 3D experiencing, classroom presentation, faculty and parent training, and Mind Matters Club. The app also links to the Shine Initiative here in Worcester, which assists in combating mental health conditions locally.
We really do want people to know what we can provide to the community here that we're in. But really, I think the great thing about the app is that it really can be for all ages.
The app can be accessed anywhere, not just in Worcester, but with growing technology, the app is particularly targeting teens and young adults.
For young people who have a phone in their hand almost all the time, feel so at ease in accessing that kind of help through the app.
Dr. Jan Yost, president of the Health Foundation of Central Mass, says their primary goal is to provide funding to various nonprofits in the area, which played a crucial role in assisting the launch of Mind Matters.
The Health Foundation provided $57,000 to the Shine Initiative for the website development and the social tools.
These organizations hope that this new app will break the stigma against mental illness.
The world is a complicated place, and our lives can be complicated, and mental health issues can have a physiological basis as well. So people need to have access to services.
In Worcester, Valerie Bell, Worcester News Tonight.
The Worcester Fire Department is getting some new technology aimed at keeping firefighters safe while on the job. Thermal cameras will be the latest addition to the Worcester Fire Department. The department received $213,000 from the Federal Emergency Management Agency to purchase 23 thermal imaging cameras. The cameras will allow firefighters to track and keep it from growing inside. Deputy Chief Andrew White says it's a benefit to both citizens and firefighters.
This allows us to see through the smoke, so we get a thermal image as to what's going on. We pick up what could be a downed citizen, a downed firefighter, or fire extending up a wall. So this is a really good beneficial tool, not only for the citizens of Worcester, but the residents of Worcester, but the firefighters too. We have a firefighter that goes down, we're able to find them within the smoky confines of the room and get them out of the building.
The cameras will be located in each fire truck in the city. Deputy Chief White says the fire department has set up a committee to test different thermal cameras to see which one would be the best fit for the department. Right now, a Boston judge is considering arguments after a hearing on the state's 4-month ban on the sale of all vaping products. A lawsuit is challenging the temporary ban. Our Caroline Connolly is in Boston with more.
Well, today the state's top doctor took the stand in the courtroom to defend the governor's ban. Now, this is video of the state's public health commissioner, Dr. Monica Burrell. She was called by the Attorney General's office to talk about what she called an epidemic of vaping use and related illnesses in the state. Now, Burrell says since September 11th, her office has received more than 150 reports of suspected vaping-related illnesses, including one death, the state's first. Now, she says much of that information alarmed her enough to support a ban on vaping products that the governor issued last month, which immediately, of course, prompted this challenge in court. Now, today, an association representing various vaping businesses challenged Burrell on her analysis, arguing that the CDC cannot conclusively say what's causing these illnesses. They also asked whether she really viewed this as a public health emergency. Take a listen.
And felt that the burden was on me to make sure that we put in place public health protections to protect the public.
Do you agree with me that as of September 24th, 2019, the youth vaping epidemic was not an emergency, it was a long-term issue?
It's a public health epidemic.
Okay, you would agree with me that it was not an emergency?
The youth vaping?
Yes.
Correct.
Now, attorneys for vaping businesses in the courtroom today said that answer really shows there's no justification for this ban because there is no public health emergency. However, the judge in this case is expected to make a ruling on Monday. In Boston, I'm Caroline Conley, Worcester News Tonight.